Now, this will probably seem minor compared to most stories here, but please understand, I live in a small town on a small island, and I'm extremely upfront about disliking something or someone, so I don't really put up with creeps and their antics. The cast: Beta, me; Weirdo, Neckbeard; Dad, my dad. I used to go to this comic shop a lot, and I was a pretty big nerd. I liked anime, manga, comics, cartoons, you named it. I even wore anime and comic shirts a lot. Now, I'm about 5'7" and a little on the chubby side. I keep my hair short and I wear glasses, so I wouldn't say I'm particularly attractive. My dad also likes comics, so we would often go to this comic shop together. So me and my dad enter the comic shop and we start to do our rounds. Enter Weirdo. He comes up behind me as I'm looking at comic books and noticed I was looking at a Transformers comic. He immediately starts talking to me, and he's talking so fast I can't even understand what's going on. Now, Weirdo was shorter than me, had thinning hair that looked like he was starting to go bald. He was not overweight and did not have a neckbeard, but he had no chin and a very rotten pear-shaped body. He reeked like unwashed human and dirty towels. Immediately I'm uncomfortable, so I put the comic down and turn to walk away. That's when he starts acting out his favorite scene from the comic, sound effects and everything. I tried to back away from him, but he followed me and had no idea what personal space was. I tried to ignore him and walked around the store. It's a small store. He followed me. I found my dad and we left. The whole time I was there, he just stared at me and followed me at a distance. It was creepy. I didn't get to buy anything because I wanted to leave ASAP. I don't go to that comic shop anymore. So, Neckbeard follows me around a comic shop while he makes Transformer sounds. Hi, this is my first time making a post. I've recently been having to deal with a neckbeard guy from my karate class I started going to in September 2019. Let's call him Jerry. Jerry doesn't really have much of a neckbeard look other than his greasy hair and face, which he usually tries to put into a little man bun. He is not overweight, but he is extremely skinny. If anything, he's more of a frat boy than anything. He usually moves very slowly and sways a lot when he walks. Jerry is the same height as me, but me being trans guy and having a feminine shape, despite me being desperately wearing male deodorant, cutting my hair, and avoiding makeup, Jerry has decided that me and my sister still are attractive to him. He has hit on my sister before, messaging her, but getting blocked due to being way too pushy, and then continuing to message me, but getting yelled at by my sister. I think it's important to mention that my sister is 12 and Jerry is almost 15 and I'm 14. After he got lectured by my sister, he has not said anything for a few months other than saying Happy New Year's. Jerry also has a sister that went out with my friend Cross, fake name, before they broke up, and she has been avoiding me and my sister ever since. However, even after getting lectured, Jerry has decided that this new coronavirus crisis is the perfect timing to ask me out. I was at my dad's house, which does not have Wi-Fi due to it being in the middle of the forest. I was watching a movie because it was 1 a.m. and I could not sleep. I checked my phone, and guess who decided to message me through Facebook? Jerry. He started to go on about how he's constantly working out. I only commented on it being 1 a.m. and it being unhealthy to constantly work your body due to leading to exhaustion or even muscle tissue getting pulled and damaged. After that, he started to try to make me promise to not tell my sister, or Cross, my friend that went out with his sister. That's a story for another time. I already could sense the shitty confession coming my way. I asked him if I could tell my boyfriend. I'm taken, and we've been dating for 6 months. He started to ask me about him, his name, where he's from, if my sister has a boyfriend, etc., etc. Then he tried to convince me to leave my boyfriend for him. I did not respond right away. I told him my boyfriend's name was Max, which he continued to, again, suggest I leave my boyfriend for him. I mentioned that I had a boyfriend again, and he continued to try to convince me to be with him instead of my boyfriend. I blocked him after this. You think this is the end of him constantly bothering me to be with him? It wasn't. He tried to follow me on Instagram yesterday, and I instantly blocked him. I'll edit this post if he tries to do anything else. So I've been reading through these stories and realized I have a few of my own. I regularly table at local cons to sell some handmade items with recognizable nerdy designs. To be honest, this has attracted some neckbeards, but this story takes place away from my table. I stepped away from my table for a bit and let my table partner stay there. I really wanted to see how other artists work and say hello to some of the table neighbors. While I was looking, I found an artist who drew fan art of the Hawkeyes from Marvel canon. I got really excited because there was fan art of my all-time favorite character, Kate Bishop. After gushing with the artist, I'll name them A, we agreed they would draw a headshot of Kate by the end of the con. Hours later, I go back to A's table and we briefly talk some more as the traffic is increasing in the hall. And walks over a hefty, heavy-breathing neckbeard. I'll call him Edge, since he's quite edgy. He overhears our conversation about Kate Bishop and interrupts our conversation. A and I are both nice. Say hello, and I bid A a goodbye, saying I should go back to my table. Edge stops me and demands I stay in front of A's table to discuss with us females about Marvel. To be honest, I found this a little off-putting, as even if at the time I identified as female, I like to address people with gender-neutral terms since they ask me otherwise. It's something I've learned to respect in the communities I am a part of. From there, I could tell A is uncomfortable with having Edge block their table from visitors. Edge starts rambling off that Kate Bishop is an unappreciated character. I agreed at the time, and I tried to push him off lightly, saying I have to go back to my table, but Edge does not budge. I say explicitly, "Hey, let's move away from A's table," and even have A flash me a polite but guilty look, which I 100% understood. That's when Edge starts talking about his fan theories. He goes on about Kate Bishop and how he'd write other characters if he wrote them. Now, this was a few years ago where I did not have my social anxiety under control as I do now, so when the tactics on pushing someone off were not working, what I said before, sending text in the conversation, taking a call, saying you need to leave, I felt stuck. So for a bit, I get Edge telling me how great his fan theories were and how he submitted them to Marvel's writing team. He even said he was at the convention to give his writings to a celebrity from the industry who was at the convention. Now at this time, I was very threatened. I already got texts and 2 calls from my table mate wondering where I was, and every time I tried to move from A's table, Edge would reach out to me. Somehow, after what I found out was almost an hour, Edge lets me go. And when he asked for my Artist Alley table number, I lied and said I could not remember. Luckily, later in the convention, I apologized to A, and they were totally fine and felt threatened too, and I was not sure what to do either. Even when I returned to my table, I explained what happened to my table partner. She took it well and later bought me a con-exclusive item I had troubles getting on in my breaks. Honestly, the situation would have been more okay, and I would have actually talked to Edge about the industry if he didn't act so creepy. He kept hitting on me throughout the interaction and not leave me to take no as an answer. I have more Neckbeard stories, I swear, but this one always stuck out as a special one.